welcome everyone. Bonjour.
Hey.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Yo.
Hello.
Well, good to have everyone on board, but particularly the transatlantic twats.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
The t-shirts are in the post.
Nice. Can't wait.
Right, shall we kick it right off?
Yes.
Who wants to go? So obviously the big one this week was The Last of Us. Thoughts? Who wants to kick off our thoughts for this week, for this hogCAST on The Last of Us in totality?
I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
So I thought that the episode, if you were to take the episode completely by itself, was all right.
Yep.
It wasn't perfect, but it was all right. And then when I add it to the rest of the show, especially what happened immediately preceding this episode, I felt like it wasn't right. It didn't fit there. It didn't involve a moment of change for our characters. There was a lot missing, and I felt like there was so much time wasted in the episodes leading up to this that could have been used to make this moment more powerful. So I felt like, yes, this good production quality, performance of the actors was good, but it just felt out of place. It didn't feel like the story went anywhere special. So my overall score for the whole show is pretty low. Our review hasn't come out yet, but it was a 6 for the whole show. But for the episode by itself, I think I said like an 8 or 9. I can't remember what I said for that. But yeah.
I mean, I still think that, and I won't go through everything that I said in my final episode video, but I just think episode 8 really got me when they both found each other at the end of that episode. Mm-hmm. There was something about the battle that they was both independently going through. So we've seen them for all of those episodes. Well, the ones that they deemed to show us with those two together. But when they were split apart and the stakes were so high and the villain was so, moustache twigglingly evil, that when they actually, that moment where she turns around and she's still hyper from having cleaved the cannibal to death, that moment, and then he calls her baby girl, and that's the first time we hear him call her that since the first episode where he called his daughter that, and blah, blah, blah. Wow. Now, what an ending if they could have just swapped them two series around, but I think they just slavishly applied themselves to the game, the order of the game, which I kind of admire. You've got to respect their respect, but it's an adaptation for a reason. Adapt it to the new format, and maybe, but yeah, it was just. I think everyone's in agreement. Like it was.
Yeah, I think that the final episode. So it's an interesting concept. The morality of Joel's decision. So do I be selfish and do what's morally correct in terms of saving this little girl's life, or do I let her die for the greater good? So that is a good concept, and that is a good sort of decision for him to make. But I just felt like that episode was rushed. So they sort of waste time at the beginning. And okay, they're seeing a giraffe, great. But throughout the rest of it, from the moment they get captured, there's no build-up. It's just scene, done. And I think for me, the biggest bit, what they should have done was a little bit more time with him arguing the decision with Marlene, and that build-up and that tension with it there. But then when they went into him storming through the hospital, they muted it, and it was almost done like a montage. Mm-hmm. So what that does is, I get it, creatively, he's honed in. He's not hearing anything else. He's honed in on his mission and what he's got to do going through that hospital. But I think I said to you, Hog, earlier in the week, that would have worked much better if it was one continuous shot. So it's like a video game, and it's one continuous shot where he's working his way through the levels, like Daredevil season 3 when he's fighting out the prison. To build up that tension as he's fighting through, he gets a bit of damage as well, because he's not perfect. He's a human being. He's not a superhero, but he's ruthless with it in doing it. And then he finally gets there. So you have a continuous shot from the moment he breaks free to the moment he shoots the doctor. And then that's when you carry on. That would have built up that tension for that episode much better. I think overall, for me, I'll probably score it about a 7 for the whole season. There was a lot of time wasted. It could have been done a lot more. It could have been a lot tighter, and it could have been a lot more compact. But again, I do admire them for what they've done with the game. I would like to have seen more Joel and Ellie, and I would like to have seen more of the Infected, because for a genre show, we'd only really got one sort of like horde, which was in episode 5. But yeah, I mean, other than that, overall, good production value. There were some issues with the story, but it's still better than some of the stuff that we've seen recently. And I think if they had just done those minor changes and hadn't been almost overindulgent and just got straight to it and told the heart of the story, I think it would have been bumped up to about a 9 overall.
I felt like they my biggest problem was this was Joel's story, right? So we're supposed to see this big change in Joel. The thing is, he didn't really change throughout the series. The only thing that changed about him was that he grew to love Ellie as family, as opposed to in the past, it was Sarah and then it was his brother, right? So we didn't see a big character arc with him. We saw a relationship arc. And I feel like this final moment of him going through the hospital could have been so powerful if it was what we did not expect him to do. And so I presented on our review the 2 possibilities. Let's say if you want this ending, you want Joel kicking ass through the hospital and rescuing Ellie. Well, he should have been the type who wanted to save the world, right? And then this moment where, his whole story beforehand should have been, he's just like his brother. He wants to save the world. He wants to make sacrifices for the sake of the world. And then he's taking this girl, but he's fallen in love with her. And he's like, you know what? I can't, I need her to live. I love her. I will do anything for her. And so he's going to kill everybody and sacrifice the world to save Ellie. That would have been like mind blowing. People would have been going, oh my gosh, he's gone through a huge change to do this. The other possibility would have been, so you still want this same ending, is have all of that happen. So the same thing, he's gonna, have all this stuff at the hospital happen. Joel has not changed. He's the same guy as he was in the show. But at the end with Marlene, he finally does realize, you're right, I have to do something different. And he'll wait until Ellie wakes up and ask her what her choice is. And her choice is, I'm going to go through with it. I'm going to sacrifice myself for the world. And he has to let her go. That would have been so powerful. These are 2, in one case, you have to change the character of Joel. In one, you don't, but you have to change the ending. But it involves a shift. It involves a change where we see something different in
You're exactly right, Amber. But
character himself, not necessarily in the relationship.
That involves adapting. It's that word again.
Yeah.
It involves adapting the game.
Right. And they did a good job, I think, of being loyal to the game. From what it sounds like, it was mostly the same. Again, but if you want a really powerful moment,
to adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what they're trying to do, and like I say, I've got a lot of respect for him for doing it, and he isn't.
I must say, I watched the cut scenes and footage of the game that matched that episode at the end, and it pretty much, some of it is scene for scene. But I must say, him going through the hospital in the game, obviously you're playing him and you're going through and killing people, etc. But it was built up so much better. There was a lot more tension to it. I think the fact that it was muted, that pivotal moment where he makes that decision, it wasn't necessarily built up enough. And then when it got to it, it kind of fell flat because it's a brutal thing that he's doing. Let's show the brutality. Let's not just do a montage. Let's show the journey he's got to go through. And, the time's run out. He's got to get there quick. Is he going to get there in time? Let's show that tension of him getting there to really build it up. So it's when he gets into that surgery room on the pediatric ward, because obviously in a post-apocalyptic world, they're still going to use the hospital as it's meant to be and use certain departments how it's supposed to be used. It just kind of fell flat by the time he got there. It should have been built up to that moment. And I get the creative decision behind it, but it could have been done so much better. And again, Hog knows I love a continuous shot. So, and what a better way to adapt a game by putting a continuous shot in there where you feel like you're following the game.
I don't think it would have added a lot.
I
think
it would have added a hell of a lot more.
I think a one take would have still been Rambo. It would have still been a Rambo moment, which it was. You didn't even think, because I wouldn't mind if we'd have seen him, because apparently he kills more people back in Kansas, doesn't he, in the game? He's Rambo then. But if you've seen that moment, or they kind of alluded to it more, then that moment has more resonance. But I still say what they were both doing in the episode before was so much more powerful than just another gunfight where, you know, they've got the aim of a stormtrooper. Every single one of them.
Was it you that said that those episodes would have worked better shot round the other way, swapped round?
Yeah, just swap.
Yeah, so he does
adapt.
So basically, what you're saying is he doesn't get hurt in the episode prior. They get straight into the finale, but then while saving Eddie, he gets injured, and then we see episode 8. Yeah, is what you're basically saying. Yeah, that would have worked quite nicely.
He gets injured in that hospital, rescuing her.
So what do you guys think about? I was considering this while I was looking at the story, going, okay, everybody complained that Joel did not kick more ass leading up to this, right? We didn't see him killing hundreds of guys like he supposedly did in the game.
Yeah.
Do you think that what they were trying to do is say that maybe he's slightly past his prime and he's not as efficient a killer as he used to be, and then that would maybe magically make this final moment seem really brutal, like, wow, we've never seen him doing stuff like this before? Because I felt like we were supposed to think he's this badass, and we've only seen him kill like one other person, with the exception of the previous episode and the torture scene. But the torture scene is different from walking around just ruthlessly killing people left and right.
It was really uneven in that respect.
Yeah.
I rewatched it all, not all in one go, probably in about 3 hits, just to do an overview of it. And like I was saying to Liz earlier on, got to say, I really did enjoy watching it again. Got to say that. It could have been so much better. But anyway, I'm going to do a video of that. But what I will say, the unevenness of what you're saying, Amber, about Joel. So when I rewatched it, and it even looks like in the first episode, he's got all slick hair and it's all nice and dark, and he's looking good, man. And then by the 3rd or 4th episode, he's having
it's great
moment. And he's like, and he's looking a bit older. And I thought, that was a very uneven. Out of all of it, out of everything they've done so well, and acting superb, production design, sound design in some of the episodes, especially with them clickers and stuff, everything's top notch. But I think they fell a bit flat with that, where he's suddenly out of puff in like episode 6 or episode 5, where they've got the Native American couple and they come out of their cabin and he's going, and I can remember thinking, like, watching that episode, where did that come from? Like, has he used his last inhaler from 20 years ago, or what?
See, I think what added a bit more power to it is at the very beginning when his daughter died, he's helpless in that situation. He couldn't do anything to save her, and he was helpless in that situation. It would have been quite nice over the course of the series, because he eventually says that basically at the beginning of the final episode that Eddie's kind of helped him bury some demons with the loss of his daughter. It would have been quite nice earlier on in the season if he's still having almost like episodes of PTSD for being totally helpless in that situation. Then when he gets confronted with the news that Eddie's going to die, that PTSD kicks in. But now he's thinking, I'm not going to let this happen again, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. Now, it's kind of implied through what we know about Joel, but where none of that, I'm not saying sometimes show and tell, etc. But I think if we had a little element of that, just a bit more on early on in the season, of, you know, he felt helpless in that situation when he lost his daughter. This is now a situation where it's going to be more powerful, because now he's got the power to try and do something.
I don't know if that would have got on my nerves, to be fair. Like, he had his moment with the guard, didn't he, when they're escaping Boston? And I thought that was really good. But I think I've got to think, well, we'll never know, because I don't know if that would have got on my nerves, keep referencing that moment with the daughter. Yeah, I get it.
even just once.
They kept showing it. Yeah, but they did do it once, didn't they? When they was escaping the city.
But again,
Loses it.
twice.
But what I think what Space Lizard's talking about is just showing that this has been an ongoing problem for him. And you don't even have to have like a flashback to the daughter. We could just have moments where we see that he's struggling with this PTSD, and we don't have to have that flashback. We just know. But to have no occurrence of it, with the exception of episode 1, until the snow episode, and then not again after that. Yeah. Like it felt disjointed, and that was one of my big complaints about this show, was that I felt like there were gaps of character development and stuff that were not connecting one side to the other, because we didn't see the PTSD all the way through. And then another big complaint I had for this final episode was, what the hell's wrong with Ellie? Why is she not acting like Ellie all of a sudden? And I'm not buying the whole, oh, she, had the almost getting raped and almost getting eaten by cannibals. This is not the most traumatic thing that has happened to this girl. She had to kill her best friend who she was in love with a knife, we're presuming. So killing a guy is not a big thing for her. Almost getting eaten is not a big thing for her, because it happened in the clicker episode with, what was that, episode 2? And the whole she almost got raped thing. This is not how somebody reacts when they are almost raped. This is how somebody acts when they have been raped. And I just didn't buy it. I'm like, what is wrong with her? Yeah, so it just felt, something was missing. We were not connecting. This episode was not connecting to the rest of the show. And that happened a couple of times, like what you're talking about with the episodes of PTSD with Joel. Suddenly they pop up out of nowhere. He can't breathe. We're going, why didn't we see evidence of this beforehand? If this is related to Sarah, why is it only coming up now? There was no moment, a trigger moment that indicated to us, that's why it didn't come up before, because something like this hadn't happened.
Randy, Tayters, you got anything to say about
I got a ton, but I'm gonna let Tayters go first.
Oh, go Randy, go. Mine's not great.
I disagree.
Tayters, you just say I really liked it. That'll be that. We'll move on.
8 out of 10, brilliant.
Did you like it?
It was watchable. Yeah, there were moments of enjoyment there and little highlights, but overall story, like everyone said, it's not great. Not great. I was like 7, 8 out of 10 for the overall. It was it could have been better. Again, as Liz said, going back to the episode that shouldn't have been. It was just like, that could have been.
There were 2.
Well, yeah, that's true. More focusing on one of them over the other one. But yeah, it's like that could have been 2 episodes shorter and a lot tighter. But
I'm with you on that. Okay, so I agree on a couple of points. So let me address the violence thing. So in this last episode, we see Joel really kick butt, right? So let me pose a different frame of mind, which is where mine is. All right. So we have Joel. He's still the legend, right? But then he loses Tess. And in a way, we see a decline with him. He's lost that person that's been with him for so long. Tess probably is the person who brought him out of his funk after the apocalypse. I mean, I don't know how long ago he met her, but I'm guessing that that's what saved him after the loss of his daughter, right? So at the beginning of the series, we do see him lose that. And we do see him throughout developing some PSD at moments. Okay, so maybe they could be more consistent about that, but we see that he's in decline. He has lost a reason to live, right? So we get to episode 9, and he kicks butt. Why? Because this is what in the writing industry is known as the rebirth. He is reborn. He is going to save her because he has now a reason to live and to move forward and to embrace life and whatever else. So for me, I did not have a problem with it. And we see him return to the legend because now he does have something that matters to him. So I felt that was consistent. It was good storytelling to see that arc. And we want to talk about growth. I see growth. And that's that part of that whole thing. Joel has lost, like I said, he's lost it. He is lost his one person that he's connected to. He's kind of lost his why go on kind of thing. Even though he's a survivor and he's going to continue to go on, he doesn't have a reason to go on. So do we see growth? Yeah, we see that he has recovered. The first couple episodes until Tess dies is him losing his world again. And then we go through all the episodes and we get to 9 and he has his world back again. He has Ellie. So he has recovered. And many stories do that as the growth arc. All right.
I get that, Randy. I get that. Exactly what you're saying. But do you not think that the gunfight was just a walk in the park? Like there was no, if the stakes were upped, if he runs out of ammunition and he's got to use a knife on the floor to get the next one, and he gets wounded, and then he manages to grab that guy's gun, and then like it didn't seem. And I get what you're saying. It just seemed like he got a gun. Bosh bosh for the 2 guards, up the stairs, away we go, bang bang bang, bang bang bang, bang 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 bang, and now I'm in the pediatric ward.
Okay, so it depends on what
do you think maybe that scene could have been a bit like how they done the violence in this series up to that episode? And I know what you're saying, but I think maybe now you've said that, if that scene was more visceral and a bit more of one or two a bit more obstacles for Joel.
Okay.
Do you think I think that may have made it a better final episode? Maybe, I don't know.
That's what I was trying to say with that continuous shot. It doesn't necessarily have to be a continuous shot, but let's just see some more with that. I think the way that they did it just fell a bit flat.
Yeah. Go on anyway. Carry on, man.
I mean, so you make a good point, but we have to look at what the storyteller is trying to do here. Now, if the storyteller is indeed saying Joel is back, the legend is back, then I think that was a pretty good sequence. Could it be improved? Yeah, I mean, there's almost no sequence anywhere in any show that couldn't be improved, right? But for me, that's what I'm thinking when I'm watching, like, yeah, Joel is back, right? The legendary Joel is finally returned, and I love that. And then I also want to talk about growth arc, and I already mentioned the one thing. So there is a movie which may not have reached it over to England called Appaloosa.
Yeah.
Yes, but what's really great about it, it has a narrator, it has a main character. Now that main character has no growth at all. He is the same at the beginning, at the end. So the same mistakes that he has, the same flaws he has at the beginning, he has at the end, and they pretty much undone him. But the growth we see is in the narrator, which is his buddy, his friend, right? So it's narrated from the point of view of him, and we see growth in that character. So the movie is satisfying, even though the main character doesn't grow, because we see growth in the narrator, in the best friend. All right. So I would say that what we get here is we kind of get 2 growth arcs. We get Joel coming back, recovering from a horrible event in his life. And then we also see Ellie grow. So we get growth on 2 fronts. So for me, there's plenty of character growth and character arc throughout this first season. It satisfied me. I felt there was plenty.
Have you heard the latest news? What Druckmann has said, the creator and the writer. So he said that The Last of Us season 2 will follow the games, which obviously didn't go down very well, and he doesn't want the games to overtake. The show to overtake the games. So it looks like that the Last of Us Part 2 game will be adapted over a couple of seasons, so it'll be dragged out, which is even more frustrating. Okay, fair enough. That's your reasoning behind it, but the game hasn't gone down very well, so this is your chance to try and rectify that. Mm-hmm. But if you're planning on adapting one game into potentially 2 seasons, those filler episodes we got this year and this season,
gonna be more.
Well, there's going to be more, but you could have easily taken them out and then put them into season 2, like we said about that episode 7. Okay, we've said about different ways of it could have been done, etc. But that could have easily been put into season 2.
Mm. Okay, in the right hands, this season, take out the 1 or 2, depending on how you classify it, filler episodes. I could have written that season with the material in game 1. In fact, I think I could have written 2 seasons worth of material from the first game without any filler episodes. I mean, I might do what they did in this and add a little bit here where there is no background and stuff. But I think I could easily have done that and kept it interesting and kept it online with what happened in the game. So
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of writing. Now, I'm not critical of the writing. I feel that the writing in this first season has been good.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
definitely they could do more.
I agree.
I just think it could have been, I think overall notes, more Joel and Ellie, which is a good thing because what they've done with them makes me want to see more of them. So that is a good thing. More Joel and Ellie, more clickers, more infected, because it is a genre TV show, more infected. Right. I mean, we had it with The Walking Dead. Walking Dead, it all became about the different groups, but the backdrop of all the infected and all the zombies were always there, and it was always the driving force with these stories. So to have them completely not appear, it made me kind of think, well, what's the danger of this world? There, you know, you go slight away from the city and move into the country, and there's hardly anyone there. Yeah. So it's not that dangerous, this world, is it? So that's
the danger of giving Druckmann having too much authority over it, because that's what apparently. And I'm not a gamer, but just what I know on the periphery of all this is that how the lead balloon of the second game went down, and Druckmann basically just saying, this is what I want to do, and this is how I think of the world, and this is the stories I want to tell. And you think, well, is it a game people want to play? I mean, I don't know what the sales were on game 2 compared to game 1. But
I mean, from what I hear, game 2 was pretty much universally panned.
Yes.
It was universally put down, and people didn't agree with it. People didn't like it. So if that is what you're going to base your next potentially 2 seasons off of, you need to almost listen to your fan base in a way and go, right, what did we know what they didn't like about it? I don't know if everyone knows what happened in the first game, but they're saying that happens in the second game, and people were kicking off massively about it. So I don't want to give away any spoilers for those that don't know, but something happens, people weren't happy with it, and you've got to kind of right that wrong in a way. You can't just put your head in the sand and go, well, that's what I wanted to do.
Perhaps he will.
But you've done something. It didn't go down very well. How can we fix it? Now, maybe it gets fixed by expanding it over the 2 seasons. So there's more of a build up to a certain event. That could potentially work. Maybe that's why he's thinking of doing that route. But there's going to have to be a lot of changes to make that satisfactory of what they do. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. But the weird thing is, so I'm saying yes, for me it's about a 7. Yeah, it was I enjoyed it. There was a couple of overall notes, but other than that, I enjoyed it. Am I excited for season 2? Am I going, oh, I can't wait for season 2 to come out?
No.
And I don't think I'll be rewatching it either.
Yeah, I agree.
Watching it, but I can just wait. I'm not bothered. Like I can just wait.
If it's there, it's there.
Yeah,
I think it'll be one of those. I think it'd be one of those. You'll wait for all the episodes to drop and then you'll watch it.
Yes.
Yeah. Rather than week on week.
At the end of the day, this was, when you think about what has been out recently, and on a second viewing, I've got to say there were nice details in it that I missed, but only because I hadn't seen all the other episodes. Like the episode when just one instance of when the episode where they go to get, after Tess has blown everything up at the beginning of episode 3, they walk into the store and Ellie goes down in the basement and stabs one of the infected in the head with her knife and cuts his forehead open. But just before that, she runs over to the Mortal Kombat machine. And that's obviously the game she was playing with Riley.
Yeah.
In the battle scene. Well, when I rewatched that scene was just, that little detail was just nicer. I was just thinking, oh, nice. And it makes me think about how much thought the writers were applying to the little details, like her lying to Tess and Joel about how she got bit. Oh, yeah, I went to the mall. And Tess says, oh, what? The mall that is boarded off and closed and you're not supposed to go there and it's full of infected. And she goes, yeah. and she went there on her own, and she goes, "Oh, you've got big brass balls on you, sister," like that. But she's talking about and I kind of see why they showed us. I still say that was unnecessary, that episode, or unnecessarily long. And those flashbacks could have been, Riley moments. That right there in episode 3 could have been a Riley moment, maybe.
Yeah,
a little flashback with her playing a game, and we think, hold on, who's this girl she's with?
I actually really wanted that flashback to happen, like while she was sleeping, because remember, she wakes up and they're watching her. I thought that would have been perfect, because then, sort of like how we got Joel's history with Sarah in episode 1, now we're going to start out by having Ellie's history at the beginning of episode 2. I thought that would have been perfect for it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit better done, but anyway, yeah, I mean, it stood up for me. It stood up to a second viewing, which says a lot for me.
Yeah,
it does say a lot for you, to be fair.
And the only thing there ain't a lot. I think that's the first thing I've watched a second time since Cobra Kai.
Times are hard.
Cobra Kai is fun though.
There isn't anything at the moment I want to watch a second time.
See, I agree. Cobra Kai is fun, but it's one of those. It's fun, not good.
Yeah.
Oh man, no way. No way.
The fun is good. The fun of it is really good.
It's fun, but yeah,
it's double cheese. That's triple cheese on toast.
It is, yeah. It's the cheesiest cheese.
It's unashamedly though. It says.
Yeah, I think it's all on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
How much rings a pout? Oh no, probably wrong choice of. So, have you got anything to add, Tayters or Randy?
No. I think everyone's. No. I've got no major insights into that. Just
kind of saying. What are we collectively saying anything about Last of Us? Are we saying?
I'll watch it again. I'll just skip episode 7.
It was all right, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. I'll watch it again. I'll just skip episode 7, like I say.
Yeah.
When I over episode 7.
I've got to admit, it was a lot of fast forwarding through that one episode. Other than that,
yeah,
there was a lot more to see in a way. There's a lot more going on in the little details. But just last thing is. The world building that they was doing in the first couple of episodes, they never realised.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
We never saw that kind of post-apocalyptic world where they'd set up these clickers and the.
Yeah.
I know I always mentioned that the second episode where they're rolling away from the light.
Yeah, I like that.
A lovely creepy moment, and I know one of the characters steps on and they've mentioned it and they all come running, and that's when Tess blows them all up. But that's just once we're shown how this fungus could work in this world.
Yeah.
How creepy it could be. They kind of showed beautiful splashes of it on walls, didn't they? The different fungus and different people that have been affected. But they could have really made something of that other than episode 5 with a horde of them and one big bloke in a fat suit. They could have really gone to town and adapted. They could have got people in, different. And I know they adapted the game from Spores to and I thought that was really creepy. That ending with Tess when the one and she's really snogging him.
Yeah.
Trying to do it. I've got to admit, that was so well done.
See again though, the whole time I was
there again with that creepy,
it was cool, but it didn't make sense. Why would she just stand there?
No, she's trying to do the lighter, isn't she?
Trying to draw him in, isn't she?
But why is she trying to do the lighter? She's just throwing a whole load of grenades.
Why couldn't she just do this? Like turn your head away from him. She didn't even do that.
It's not even that. She's just thrown a whole load of grenades on the floor, and she's like, to create the explosion I need to light this, make this lighter work, put it on the floor so all the oil and stuff that she's put on the floor spreads the flames, and then the grenades will go off. Just keep one grenade in your hand and just pull the pin. You don't have to fumble with the lighter.
In their defense, I would say that when you've just been bitten by the infected 5 minutes ago, and then you know they're on the way, and
You
you're
probably don't think straight.
Your best in this you're probably not thinking straight in those moments. The last time you used your lighter, it did work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if we, you know, she hasn't just stood there and gone, right, let's think about this. She ain't got the time, and it would have been quite boring.
Mm.
We wouldn't have got that snog scene with the. Yeah.
There were so many little things
Oh.
like that, though, throughout the series. Little things that you're going, ah.
Oh.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit, Amber. Can you press a button?
Yeah.
Am I there? Can you hear me?
You're back.
I'm back. Oh yeah, I keep getting a thing that says my internet connection is unstable.
So you saying there were so many little things?
Oh yeah, just there were so many little things in the logic that could have been very easily fixed and it wouldn't have affected the story. It, to me, that just shows sloppiness. That is a sloppy thing to let through on a final draft. And
yeah,
I mean, come on, the budget for this show is obviously very high. The quality of everything visually is so nice. Why couldn't they fix these little things that do irritate? You know, I mean, like, what it just brings the quality down. You know, I mean, writing is such an easy thing to fix. Why do you let it go? Why do you just let it through?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, that was a good final note, Amber. A good final note. Now, talking about sloppy writing.
Oh God!
This is over to you.
No, can we go back to episode 2?
Oh yeah, we've got
discuss episode 2
of Star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Mandalorian. We never discussed episode 2, did we?
Yeah,
So
episode 2 and 3.
Let's talk about
both. Let's go both.
About the Mandalorian
Mm-hmm.
so far.
Well, episode 2, like I said, I mean, you all know I absolutely loved that episode. There was so much to that. And obviously, as we chatted through the week leading up to episode 3, they missed a lot in terms of getting across the story, because this is all from past. This is all from a lot of things that have previously gone on, again, through Clone Wars and Rebels and so on and so forth. Without that information, some of that stuff doesn't make sense. Like Amber, when you said about her going to the plaque and reading that plaque, you know, again, you don't get the sarcasm, you don't get the history, you don't get why she's being obtuse in that way. You know, it was all done for a reason. She had lost all faith in everything that she believed in. She'd give up her family for, and then realized it was all a crock, or so she thought.
I kind of got that, but it just felt weird for her to say, we're on our way to the thing. Wait, before you go in, let me give you the grand tour, and it's a plaque. It was a little weird. I thought he should have said that. He should have been like, what's that? But yeah,
that was great.
I think Bogo should have read it.
Even you, Hog, with your bit about Mando showing him the star map of where the planets are 10 minutes before he needed to know that was picking up from something they did in episode 1 that you maybe missed. He was teaching him the controls in episode 1 when all of a sudden we got the pirates pop up on the screen. He was just picking up where he left off.
I did miss that, but yeah, it's a classic storytelling tool, and I'd rather see them set Grogu up that information rather than him just backflipped into the ship, and then just controlled it, and then that was funny. We think he doesn't know where to go, and even though it only took 10 minutes to get to another planet and back and back down there.
Well, again, that's another thing. We need to talk about the planets.
Forget that, but when you add it all up, there's only so much suspension of disbelief.
What do you want to say about the planets?
In the world could achieve.
What do you want to say about
Liz,
the planets?
you said something about the planets. What was it you were saying?
So I said from episode 1 and 2, there's certain scenes that should have been mixed around. So he's on his mission to get IG-11.
Yes,
and then
from
he gets
Navarro,
attacked. Then he gets attacked by pirates. Then he just buggers off, goes and visits Bo-Katan, but then comes all the way back to go to Tatooine. The end of episode 1 should have been he escapes the pirates. He goes to Tatooine to try and get a droid.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of episode 2, he goes and visits Bo-Katan and says, "Look, I'm going to Mandalore, and it's just there. You're the moon around Mandalore.
Yeah, but
it's just there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. I've got a droid. I'm going to go there." He goes there, and then when he says, "Get Bo-Katan," you know she's next door. You know she's there. So it makes more sense and more logic. So when
next door to where? Oh, what? When, yeah, right. Okay, no, right.
Yeah, yes. So it makes more logic when Grogu goes there. It does because when Grogu goes there, and he turns up without Mando, she instantly knows something's gone wrong on Mandalore.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
but what I'm saying is,
it would make more sense coherently, and the fact that he went to Tatooine and said, "I need an IG-11 part." Yeah. Like an IG part, and then they go, "Well, this droid will do." And he's been so adamant that no other droid will do apart from a.
Never trust.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Yeah, I'll take that."
Till Curly says, "I've got this R5." Oh, yeah, all right,
with the switching the droid out, I'll give you that. I'll give you that with the switching the droid out. But in terms of the traveling from planet to planet, Navarro and Mandalore are literally right on top of each other, right? So he wouldn't go all the way to Tatooine, which is literally the other side of the galaxy, to come all the way back to Mandalore.
But his mission was to get a droid, so he would have gone to Tatooine first to get the droid, then go to Mandalore to try and get Bo-Katan.
But if he went to visit Bo-Katan first to get information that he needed about Mandalore, go for it, Randy.
Okay, so now I'm confused. So Mando and Grogu are going there and to Mandalore, and he points out the moons. So he points out like this is the moon that I was raised on. And without knowing anything about, I'm not as extensively educated about the background on that. I thought maybe that's the planet that the first episode, that was the moon on the first episode when they're baptizing the kid, right? They're dunking him in the water. So I thought maybe that's where that took place. Is that right?
Concordia, no. I forget the planet they were on where they were. It was. I forget the name of it. It was a covert. It was a Mandalorian covert, but I can't remember the name of the planet it was on. But no, the planet that Bo-Katan was on is a moon of Mandalore. It's in the Mandalore system.
Okay, so I got half of it right. So for me though, right, it seems like if they have a moon that was occupied. I don't know why it's not anymore. And we have where Bo-Katan is, right? Which is a moon of Mandalore. Why have they not ever checked Mandalore before? I mean, they're right there, right? And it reminded me on our review of it, I talked about it's like when I play Fallout, right? And my backpack is full. So I just travel all the way across the map, hundreds of miles, whatever it is, and I drop stuff off and I go back and I finish the next room. And the guys are still waiting for me and they're still mad because I just killed a bunch of their buddies. And I'm like, that's what it felt like. Like we're just gonna zip around and it doesn't matter where anything else is in the galaxy because we have endless fuel and it's like gameplay. So that was my take.
I think we'll find the reason they didn't just go and check, because like obviously when they did go there, they found the armor in the dust that was the trigger for the trap. Yeah, I do have a feeling that they're basically going to go with.
That was a nice scene. That made
it was a great scene.
I'll admit, and the music come in, and he's looking at the helmet, and it was all that. That was the little whistle. And then suddenly, bang! I did think.
But I think that's where the curse came from. That place is cursed. People go, they never come back. You're finding armor, but you're not finding people. So nobody went to Mandalore for however many years, purely and simply because.
And I can kind of get that. I can kind of get that. It just felt very disconjointed. He's on a mission to go and get a droid. He gets attacked by pirates. He then decides to visit Bo-Katan. Just popping in en route, just popping in for a cup of tea.
Pretty much.
And then buggers off across the other side of the galaxy to get a droid that he didn't want. To then come back next door to where he was. It just it's like planning a journey. I've got a few bits to do today. I'm running around in and about, got a few people to see. What I'm going to do is, because it's right next to me, I'm going to go in there first. You work out and work your way back home, don't you? So if he's going back to his bit, it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense being the other way round.
None
And
of
I've got
this
one
stuff
other issue with episode 2 as well.
seems like
Go
a
on.
final draft, does it, of a script? None of this.
It
seems,
even could have been fixed in the edit.
it was.
So episode 2 going into episode 3.
So
So
out of a story grenade. Single hands.
so Mando is our hero of the show. He is our hero of the show.
Yeah.
So he finally gets to his big.
Minus, they are getting better.
So he finally gets to his goal of the living waters of Mandalore.
Yep.
He gets in, and he goes down. He falls down.
Yep.
At the beginning of episode 3, he goes, I didn't realize how deep it was. Like, so our hero of the show literally just steps off the edge, falls down. Apparently, he can't swim either, and he just, okay, I'm drowning now, and he's gone. So, what at the very end of the episode, when he hands the proof, the water to the armorer, and she pours it into the thing, and we see it light up. All they literally had to do was him step into the living waters of Mandalore, just have the water light up around him and have it look like he's sucked in. Because
that was nice.
Because what you've just done at the beginning of episode 3, I drowned. You just made your hero look completely stupid.
Yeah.
Completely stupid.
Nice guys said it. What did you title your video? He's Randy and Amber, you titled your video.
He was the damsel.
Yeah, he was the damsel.
He was the damsel twice. Twice in one episode.
Grogu's got to get him out of trouble, and then Bo-Katan's got to get him out. It's like,
twice.
Seeing Bo-Katan, being so Bo-Katan, to see her be what she is was really good.
Oh, that was.
Oh, yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
Too. And I'll tell you what, it's because it was classic Star Wars where everything was all coming at you.
Yeah.
But it was only because episode 3 was so shit.
Oh God!
Thinking about last week again, you're thinking bullshit, really. But if you keep up what they did in episode 2, we'd all get to episode 8 and go, "Wow, phew!"
I mean, episode 2 was good. As I say, the beginning I think should have been swapped around with the Tatooine and visiting Bo-Katan bits. That should have been swapped around, and then at the end, just have the waters light up so he gets sucked in. Yeah. Don't make your hero.
You think he should have gone from Navarro, which is right next door to Mandalore, all the way down to Tatooine across the galaxy to come back?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise he's going to Navarro, right next to the moon of Mandalore.
Yep.
And bearing in mind Mandalore, his end goal, to then go across. Like, if you've got a mission to get a droid, and you know there's no point in me going to the Mandalore system until I've got a droid, I'm going to go to Tatooine,
but
get
he's
my
in the
droid.
Mandalore system.
So you're forgetting that.
So why is he going to Tatooine to get a droid?
Right. What I'm saying is Navarro is at the outskirts of the Mandalore system. It is literally on the outskirts of the Mandalore system.
But again,
they are right next door to each other.
He knows the
doesn't matter.
Sure, he's a space lizard. He knows the shortcut from Navarro to Tatooine.
What they really should have done is kept it ambiguous about where these things are, because then we wouldn't be having this debate. We wouldn't be going like, "What a It
is really irrelevant.
But even then, your mission's to get a droid. So go and finish that mission, then go and see Bo-Katan, then go to Mandalore. It just makes a lot more chronological sense. But I think episode 3, the concept of it was interesting. Cloning technology, stuff that's come all the way through the prequels and the Clone Wars. The concept
does not need to be that long.
Exactly.
It took way too long.
It was executed ridiculously bad. I mean,
it was Ellie and Riley in The Mandalorian. It was that.
Yeah.
It was that.
That Ellie and that ticket droid.
The ticket droid was amazing, wasn't it? How slow was that thing?
Yeah, that ticket droid. Oh, we've got to the end of the train. Oh,
oh bugger.
The end of the train. Look, the end of the train.
But it felt like an episode of Andor.
Yeah,
everyone said that. Yeah, everyone said that. But that first 10 minutes was great.
Your first 10 minutes was great. The last couple of minutes was good. The middle part felt like an episode of Andor. And I know they're probably going to be setting something up, but that is if you want to have that in it, get rid of fucking train scene because that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you want to have that in there for your bit of world building of what happened to the Imperials after the fall of the Empire and the cloning side of it, have that as your C story and pepper it in.
Yeah. Again,
and have a little bit in episode 1, a little bit in episode 2, and a little bit in episode 3, and just have that as your little BC story. Oh, look what the cloning scientist is doing.
Was it just me, or did people think that looked visually different from the other two?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I have a theory.
Visual effects were crazy.
I have a theory, and I've got to say this because I was looking all over online. Nobody's really talking about this.
No,
I swear. They decided to add that TED Talk moment in, and him in the lobby, like with the delegates and stuff, talking to them, and then the part where he's on the park bench with those guys talking to them. Those 3 bits, I swear, that actor is not in the same place as all of them. He may actually be entirely CGI. I don't think it was. I don't think it was in the original script.
Really jarring,
I think they realized we need this so that it makes more sense for our story, but the actor's not available, so we're going to deep fake him, or we're going to film him separately and put him in here. I really think it was a deep fake. It looks like a deep fake to me because the movement does not match. The frame rate doesn't seem to match everybody else. The contrast of lighting is not the same as everybody else. It just looked fake. So I think. Huh?
What scene is that, Amber?
Okay, so when he's on the stage, I think it's, I don't know where it is. It's on Coruscant, but it's in like Coruscant, it looks like a Senate building or something, and he's on stage.
The old Senate building,
When we first see it.
He's doing this sort of stuff with his hands, and it is not. It is too fluid a movement for a real person to do. The lighting contrast on him when he's in the lobby talking to the other delegates, it's not the same as on the other people. It does not match. And then when he's sitting on the park bench with everybody else, same thing. The lighting, the contrast of lighting on him is not the same, and his movement is not the same. So I swear these were put in post. These scenes were filmed with everybody else is there, but that actor is not there. So I think that they realized after everything was filmed, oh no, we need this, but that actor's not available. So we'll just film without him.
Yeah. It makes sense.
It stood out again. The everything, even the green screen work, it just didn't look.
It was weird.
Same.
I just think this episode would have. The concept of the episode was interesting with the Imperials, with the cloning stuff, with him being betrayed, and what the rebels would like. The Republic are doing to him at the end with that mind thing. It's intriguing, but it was ultimately, and I probably know they're going to be setting stuff up with it, but ultimately that was boring. Because it was all put into one bit. If that was separated throughout the season, throughout the episodes, that would have made much more sense as your C story moving forward.
I was just going to say, do you not think if they're going to do some kind of backstory with Pershing and back and sides, surely you could have dropped that, you could have thread that through, and you should have thread that in from episode 1. I know. Like a summary of what's gone before, so that would be an ideal time to drop Pershing in.
I mean, the contrast from
Mandalorian,
the contrast from episode 2 to episode 3 was crazy. It was like you've gone to like, I can't get enough of this. Please give me more. To oh my god, when is this going to be finished? This is
I must say though, when we went to Coruscant, I thought they made Coruscant look beautiful.
Oh, it was good to see.
It is nice.
Yeah. It was definitely good to see.
Electric lollipops were a good idea.
The electric lollipop. The electric lollipop. No,
one.
I think you're looking at a punk band or a strip club.
No.
I see merchandise for Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. That's what that is. They're going to be all over Galaxy's Edge now. Everyone's going to want them.
No one's going, unfortunately.
That first 10 minutes when they're in that fight scene in episode 3.
That was awesome.
I think I'm the only one that noticed something. Now, I was waiting for Randy to get back because he would, again, waiting if Amber and Randy saw it. When Bo-Katan is flying close to the water and she's got the person behind him, she pulls a Crazy Ivan.
Yeah, I saw that. I love that. I love her ship. I really enjoy her
Crazy
ship.
Ivan that they did in Firefly.
So Crazy Ivan is an actual move. It is a Russian submarine move. And anyway, I won't go into that, but
No.
I wanted them to do what they did in Firefly, though, which is when Wash is like, yeah, we're try and get me now. And they're like, there's no way they're behind me anymore. And they look up and they're like, oh, they're just flying over the canyon instead of through it with me. I was waiting for that moment going, oh, that would be funny. But I mean, it's Star Wars. We like having the chase through the canyon, even though it's completely unnecessary.
To see her just flip the engines, pull the Crazy Ivan, and then
I loved it. Yeah,
really
it's a beautiful move.
That was fantastic.
Randy, did you notice that?
I did, and that was the best part.
Awesome.
Was that a nice recovery?
I've not heard anyone talk about it. It's just like, why is nobody talking about that fact?
Maybe because we've seen it a few times now. It's been done in sci-fi, I think. It's been done in Firefly. It was done in... Crap, now I can't remember where else. I know I've seen it. I think I saw it in Battlestar Galactica. It's been done a few times. I've seen it, maybe because first time I saw it was Hunt for the Red October. And
I don't
since
remember
then...
it in Firefly. In Battlestar. Was it done in Battlestar?
Well, their ships could flip around and shoot backwards. Remember? Because there's no
Katie Sackhoff as well, so that would make sense.
There's no wind resistance. Yeah.
But that was good. I enjoyed that bit. That scene specifically made me very happy. The rest of it, not so much.
Why they would drop that in how they've done it? If it's leading somewhere, where you see short back and sides, and I did like the amnesty aspect of it.
Yeah,
Space had said about it's interesting concepts. Yes, they are on paper. But
the only bit that worked in that, what was it, 38 minutes? 38 minutes of boredom. The only bit that worked was when the Dr. Pershing's laying on that bench and the Mon Calamari comes up to him and he says, "It's a trap." That was it. Beyond that,
I'm surprised Wickets lasted that long.
Oh, Wickets lasted. You liked it, didn't you?
I am very surprised it's lasted that long.
It's the best acting I've seen in Star Wars all week, to be fair. Who thinks that Pedro Pascal is in every scene of The Mandalorian?
He's not.
He's not. No, he's not.
No, he's not. We know that.
Is it?
We know that.
Oh,
I very much doubt.
He's got a body double and a stunt double.
Now he's got to keep his helmet on, except when he's having a pig soup or whatever it was, pig stew.
Well, that's a way to write. That is also a way to, because this season he's been on set. I think very, very minimal, maybe even like just one episode's worth. So overall, moving forwards, that is your perfect excuse now to never have him on set again. You just pull him in for a couple of days. But it is though, isn't it? You just put him in for a couple of days just to do the voice work, and then you don't have to pay him for months to be on set. And it's probably going to be, and depending on Bo-Katan's arc, it will be the same for Katie Sackhoff as well. Just get her in to do voice work for most of the season.
Oh, no,
I was kind of thinking the same thing. I think she's going to be more a prioritized actress in Hollywood after she was mostly in season 2. Was she in Boba Fett? Because I don't remember. She wasn't in Boba Fett.
No, she wasn't in Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think she's up and coming, so I doubt she'll be in season 3 much.
I make a prediction. There's going to be an episode. It could be not next week, maybe, but maybe the week after, where Mando goes back to Navarro. Grief Karga has magically assembled the IG-11 droids. The pirates are coming in, and he's got to defend Navarro against the pirates. And as his prize for defending Navarro against the pirates, he gets IG-11.
Well, they're definitely going back to Navarro next episode. Spoiler alert.
Of course they are.
It's directed by Apollo Creed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next episode.
Yeah.
What? Really? Yeah. No way. That's freaking weird.
No, seriously. Grief. I can't remember.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers. He's directed episodes of Mandalorian before.
Yeah, he done some in season 2. Yeah.
Wait.
I think he done one
for inclusion and diversity.
I thought you were saying Apollo Creed really like.
The fictional character from Rocky, yeah.
Oh no, I thought you guys. Wait, what's the name of the guy? What's the name of the speed skater? Isn't his name Apollo Creed?
I'm lost. No,
I don't know.
There's an Olympic speed skater, I think, whose name is Apollo Creed. Like for real.
It's a
What is
it?
Creed.
Apollo what? Apollo Ono. Apollo Ono. That's it. Never mind. Okay, my brain went somewhere else. I was like, are you kidding me? They've got like a speed skater in there. You know what's weird? I would not be surprised. It would not have shocked me.
No, not at all.
It would not have
at
shocked
all.
me.
Wow.
Where do we
That's
think?
brilliant.
I mean, the one bit I am looking forward to the most with this season is from the trailer. We see a flashback to the Order 66 in the Jedi Temple. And I want to see more of that. And I want to see how Grogu survived Order 66. And the reason I want to see that is, does he encounter Anakin at all?
Ooh.
That's why I want to see that.
right. So you're going back to what they showed you in the trailer, though, aren't you? And
Yes.
if you look closely at that door, that's
Yeah.
not the same door as what they showed you in the Jedi Temple.
Okay.
If you look closely, look at the details around the door, not just look at the door itself. Look at the details around the door.
No, don't look at the door, look around the door, not into it.
But I would like to see how he escaped. I would like for
Oh
that to
yeah,
be
definitely.
answered.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how,
That's a whole major plot point.
yeah, and I'd like to see how he escaped. I mean, I've seen one theory online that Darth Maul came back and saved him, which could technically work in a weird way.
Who?
Yeah. No, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Saved who? Darth come back and saved who?
Darth Maul's dead, isn't he?
No, Darth Maul's not dead. Not at that point.
Not
Darth
at that
Maul,
point, no.
Darth Maul at that point is on Mandalore with Ahsoka, fighting Ahsoka.
Okay.
He would have just escaped.
This is where it all gets.
No, he's fighting. No, not at that point.
This is where it gets proper shit. That is the stuff for the hardcore fans. This should be 8 episodes of TV, episodic TV that anyone can understand. That's why I like.
Yeah.
You remember?
That's what I said before. That's where they dropped the ball.
That's where I like that first episode, because it was all right. I'm old, but I liked it for its old-fashioned approach to. This could be someone's first episode of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it brought you right in. You didn't have to have watched episode 8 of season 24 of Clone Wars, and you didn't have to read the third book in the fucking Thrawn trilogy, and oh god, and on and on and on, and issue 18 of the new comic, which was an extension of the second comic of the third volume of the second book. No,
it's Disney.
If you
Dismal, sorry, I called them by their real name.
But if you have read and watched all that stuff, and they're dropping nice little bits in.
But it's dismal, though, isn't it? And they're doing the same in the MCU. All the TV programs add into the films, and everything is intermixed.
Yeah.
I think.
Randy, what do you think of episode 3? I'm intrigued.
Descend into.
I unfortunately have not seen it yet. I am super busy, and I watch very little. What?
You haven't seen Mandalorian yet?
I saw episodes 1 and 2, but this week I've been so busy. I've not really been able to watch much in the way of television.
We'll catch up when you have, because I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you all the spoilers now. Spoiled the episode.
Electric lollipops, man.
Yeah, electric lollipops, and it's a trap. Beyond that, don't watch it.
Those electric lollipops looked obscene.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking the strip club idea of Tayters is positive.
Yeah, electric lollipop. It's definitely a strip club or a punk band.
I was thinking of something else, but okay.
Wicket is.
Your ears, man. He's only little.
But it'd be interesting to see where they go. It'd be interesting to see where they go and how they come through that.
I hope wherever they go, they do it faster, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I am intrigued as to why she's trying to wipe Pershing's mind. I've got a feeling she's still with Moff Gideon, and something's happening there. I'm not quite sure.
So where do we think it's going to go?
I'm stuck. I'll be honest with you. I have thought about it. I'm not 100% certain.
Well, this takes place before the most recent trilogy of movies, correct? It does. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I believe my brother-in-law said he thinks that they're going to try to explain the Emperor. But I heard on the rumor mill that they're basically trashing the most recent three.
They're coming away from it. Yeah, they don't want to touch the sequels.
So then this whole cloning thing, to me, seems to still be moving in the direction of we're going to explain the presence of the Emperor or the clone Emperor. And I just think that's bad. If that's the direction that they're going, it's no good. Have the books gone past how far into the future past this point have the books gone is what I want to know.
Well, all the books that there was.
Who knows? Has anybody read the novels?
Well, all the expanded stuff
Yeah.
was all discontinued pretty much when Disney took over, so it's not part of canon anymore. It's more legends.
Okay.
So really, this is all uncharted territory now. Even though it's almost like all the books that came before is an alternate timeline. So the timeline that we're in now with Disney is all uncharted. We don't know what happens.
The other way around. What Disney are doing is an alternate timeline. Because
100%. No, 100%. But I'm just saying it from the perspective of what we're watching at the moment. But no, 100%. I agree with you. The Legends stuff should have been.
There's loads of stuff in Legends that's really good. Yeah.
Should have been done instead of what they've been doing with it. I mean, from when George Lucas sold Star Wars, like Lucasfilm to Disney, at what point do you go, this guy's got outlaid treatments for episodes 7, 8, and 9, and we're just gonna throw that over there and just do our own fucking.
Well, because apparently that was one of the reasons for selling it as well. Is he basically said, if I sell it to you, you have to do this. And that was apparently Iger agreed that, and it was like, yeah, that's fine. We'll do. What was it? It was a $4 billion sale, and they just get rid of it.
Horrendous. Yeah, absolutely horrendous.
It's terrible. Really bad. Really bad.
I get it. If you get his treatments and you go, ugh, but it's George.
Well, they're meant to be doing a new trilogy now that slots in between the end of Mando and the beginning of the sequel.
Yeah, there's plenty of rumors going around, but they're not.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So we should start our own.
Yeah.
Right. Let's start one.
Yeah. Let's start a trilogy.
100%.
I'm gonna
a rumor. Let's start a rumor.
Oh, I thought you meant a trilogy. Let's start a trilogy.
Well, we couldn't do any worse, but
I've got an idea for a 4-part trilogy.
That's groundbreaking. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Dismal. I mean, they're going to have it, aren't they? It wrote it.
Yeah.
So, from the sublime to the ridiculous, you are the Willow professionals, the Right Advice team.
Oh, yeah.
There's no series 2.
Nope, thank goodness.
Oh,
I'm glad.
Guys, come on.
Oh,
no,
I'm glad
it was.
Is there
I'm glad for a different reason.
Is there no one?
Yeah. Randy's only happy because it means Warwick Davis is free for a few months.
Oh yeah,
that's exactly.
Oh yeah. Well spotted, Tayters.
So we are trying to convince Warwick to voice Justness, which is the big superhero in my comic, and so we're really hoping, and on a very small chance that he's watching, please come do the work for us.
Small chance, though, is there?
Huh?
Small chance.
No need to say small chance on the very, very small chance. I mean, come on.
Okay, on the large chance that he's watching.
That was a low blow, Randy.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I mean, did anyone think season 2 was actually going to go ahead after season 1? I mean, how did season 1 go ahead? Like, let alone anything else.
You know what's weird is how poorly rated Velma is in comparison to Willow, and yet Velma is getting the remake, or not the remake, the renewal.
Second season.
Yeah,
it's horrendous. It's horrendous.
And neither should have gotten one. Neither one.
No.
Just see if it comes to fruition, though. Series 2 of Velma. I've got a feeling that we won't see it.
If we do, I think it'll be on if we do, it'll be on a very different budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a feeling. Well, I won't be seeing it.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
I've got a feeling that won't get to, a bit like with Willow.
Yeah, possibly.
Dismal got to save so much dough, but none of them are earning any money apart from Netflix. Amazon, you're never going to, but they're all getting viewers. Netflix are getting viewers. Amazon shows, apart from Rings of Power, Amazon shows are getting viewers. Dismal, they
Is not.
with 160 million global subscribers. And getting back to Mandalorian, I don't know if any of you have seen the news that's come out of Samba TV. And what works in the US. Perhaps you two guys can fill me in a bit more about how that works, because the bits I'm reading is that Samba TV are saying, right, 1.6 million people watched Mandalorian Series 3, and that's less than the people that watch Boba Fett.
Yeah, but I got a feeling with that when the whole Mandalorian series is out, like we touched on earlier about the potential for season 2 of Last of Us, when every episode is uploaded, watch that viewership go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think people might have lost faith.
Hmm?
People also might have lost faith, like after
possible.
Because the Mandalorian 1 and 2 created this hope that, okay, we're, this is going to be awesome. And then they get to Boba Fett, who is an iconic character, and they go, you can't go wrong with this. And they're watching it going, at some point it's going to get good. Like at some point this will be great. And it didn't happen. And then when they hear about the Mandalorian going, they're like,
we had
what,
Kenobi
I'm tired.
as well.
Yeah, and then Kenobi as well. Yeah.
Oh,
so
I mean, the only thing that's a sort of a contrary to that we just said there, Amber, is Andor did instill a bit more faith. But
Andor, I think, is a different audience. There's something different.
100%.
It's sort of like a Rogue was. It was a more grown up Star Wars, and I think Andor was in the same ballpark. So
it was almost non-Star Wars. It was almost just sci-fi.
Yeah.
But also we can talk that up a bit too much. That weren't great.
It wasn't great.
And
it wasn't great. It was probably about 6 out of 10. It was very much. There was some good moments. There was some cool shit in there, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was too dragged out. There could have been a lot of episodes cut from that.
Aren't we getting another solo movie? Not solo, but I mean another standalone movie. Aren't we getting another one? I thought I heard something about that. No, okay. I think
you did hear. Yeah. What's his? I forget the guy's name now.
No, Patty Jenkins was going to do a Rogue Squadron, wasn't she?
Yeah, no, not that. I forget the fella's name. Bald fella with glasses. He's got his movie.
Yeah. No, that ain't. None of the movies are going ahead.
I thought that one got greenlit now.
They ain't got to go. They haven't got the dough to do it. They haven't got the dough to do it. They are not doing it. They're pushing everything back. They're cancelling, and we ain't going to see a lot of anything within the next couple of years.
Right. I was going to say that we're seeing a change in the industry. We are watching it change right now. I mean, so yesterday or the day before, Kathleen Kennedy, she's gone, right? And how long have we been waiting for that, right? And we're seeing a lot of stuff. So Captain Marvel became the Marvels, right? And we are seeing no season 2 of Willow. So we are seeing it. Money's talking. Dismal Minus is recognizing that those that are focusing more on story and less on a political agenda, they're the ones where the people are going and spending their money and spending their time. They're finally waking up to it. We are seeing that effect. It'll be a little bit slow. And the MC universe, look how many projects they have canceled or have, I don't know, they're reconsidering. I mean, they've definitely downgraded the amount of projects they're going to do. This is all tied in. They have woken up. They are trying to get the wheels turning in a different direction. We're going to start seeing big changes, I feel, starting from this. Now, Velma is moving forward, not because, I mean, so you would think, well, then why would they do season 2 of Velma? Because Velma has pulled in so much hate viewing that is kind of special in its own category, people hate it so much that there's getting views, and they're willing to go for another season because it is so hated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to make you wonder if that was intentional.
I think it's shocking. I think it's a shocking one.
That would be the only way
platform
that would be any good, is if they intended it to be that bad. That would.
That would actually be. This is genius marketing. Yes. This is genius television. Yeah. They've created something so atrocious, intentionally so, knowing that people are going to love to hate this. Then you have to hand it to, what's the girl's name, Mindy Kaling, and go, well done, you did it. Keep going.
That would be,
But I think if we all knew it was created to be hated, I think we wouldn't enjoy hating it as much.
Yeah.
There is from someone about when the idiots praise, when we praise the idiot, I'm never going to. I should,
but it's all about.
I should have studied philosophy a lot more, because I'm sure there is a quote about that when we listen to the. Oh, anyway.
But when you have to fill that content order, and you are going everything out on the line, let's just get as much stuff out there as we can. It's that, as Amber said before, that fast food production line. You're not getting your best writers and your best creatives in there to do it, and you're rushing it through. You're not spending the amount of time on things where you're refining the story, and that's why we're getting the shit. If you just pull back your production line a bit and go, right, we need to make sure this is right, and the stories that these people are writing are going through that scrutiny and going through that creative process and going around that round table, everyone's having a bit of a say in terms of, hang on a minute, that don't make fucking sense. Let's get that out of there. Oh, we're gonna have Mando drown, are we? Oh, that doesn't make sense. Let's light up the waters. Like, just something like that, you're gonna get better content and you're gonna get a better story.
And this is where we're in the infancy of the streaming platforms. We are in the infancy of a new consumption of entertainment. Because like I have said before, and I will keep saying it, from the old-fashioned network TV days, where you had to get the numbers and you had to publish your numbers to get the advertising, because the advertising was paying to get your second series. The advertising was paying to get your third series and your fourth series.
Yeah.
And if people weren't watching if you weren't entertaining at whatever level, whether it was afternoon TV and it was a medical drama or a romantic drama for the afternoon, or whether it was early tea time and you had a soap opera on, or whether you had an early evening sci-fi show, or whether you had a horror show that you could only show after 9 o'clock. Back in the old network TV days, I know I'm not sure if I'm advocating for returning to advertising is king, but that barometer, that measurement of customer pleasure, of audience satisfaction is gone.
Well, they came out and said the number one measurement was subscribers. And subscribers. So for Disney, the reason Disney is struggling is because if you're measuring the success of a show on subscribers and what subscribers that's brought to your channel, you're screwed, because you're not going to just see an advert for She-Hulk and go, oh, I'm going to subscribe to Disney now. If you haven't watched MCU up till now, you're not going to get that Disney subscription to see MCU stuff. You're going to have got that subscription the moment Disney Plus landed and go, I want all my Marvel content. So all their subscription, they've got 160 million subscribers. If, say, out of those 160 million, 100 million of them was purely for Star Wars and Marvel, they would have signed up at the very beginning, not signed up per show and all of a sudden become a Star Wars fan, or all of a sudden become a Marvel fan. So to have that measurement of success being your subscribers, that's why these shows are failing, because they're not pleasing the existing fans and keeping the subscribers that they've already got with these shows. They should be putting out different stuff and random shows to get more subscribers in, whilst keeping the subscribers they've already got entertained.
Well, yeah,
and staying on their service. Yeah.
So let me throw out The Chosen. Are any of you familiar with The Chosen? I think Amber is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so The Chosen is about Christ's life and his ministry, right? So they have subscribers. That's how they get by. That's how they get their money to make the episodes, is through subscribers. People subscribe only to see that show.
You spoke
Oh, is
about
that the
this
stream?
before, Amber.
Oh, yeah. Is that
Yeah.
streaming service where it's just the one show on that?
Yeah.
Amber spoke
I
about
think-
it before.
Yeah.
I think that's the future. I think you should be able to subscribe to one particular IP, and then I really think that's the way to go, because then
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
it'll show you which shows
Yeah.
are the most successful. People are willing to spend their money on this. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, and Disney would do good, I think, to make their movies and shows available through streaming to anybody who is not subscribing to Disney. I'll bet you they would do better because people who don't want to subscribe to Disney Plus and have that monthly payment, but are still interested in seeing, like, I'd like to see the live action, I don't know, 101 Dalmatians or whatever. I'd like to own a piece of that. They would pay the money to go and do that, but they don't want to pay the subscription for, every month I have to make this payment.
I think the hybrid model, is,
Yeah.
and which Netflix are ahead of the game. I think they're ahead of the curve with. They're rolling out very slowly, I know, but a hybrid model of advertising. Like, pay for your premium subscription, you don't get no advertising, you get all of our content, and then they're rolling out. If you only want to pay us, $5 a month, whatever the price is going to be, you're going to have some advertising. Because then they have got to show advertisers a measurement of the content.
Yeah.
And that makes you keen. That makes you, as a corporation, as the publisher and the creator of this content, it makes you keen to give people what they want to see.
Yeah.
Because you've got to show the advertisers demographics of who watched this and when and how and for how long. And that's what's missing. That's why, and it's because it's in these streaming platforms are in their infancy. They're in their infancy. So, but they've also been arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney are guilty of it. Their arrogance of their attitude towards not just fans of genre stuff, but just of anything, of any decent entertainment. It's shocking.
It's almost like they're unprepared. It's the arrogance of people who
But
come and watch.
any shit that they excrete. It really is. It's shocking.
Yeah, and to be fair, Willow is a perfect example of that.
They can't help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How does a show like Willow get made?
Nepotism.
Yeah,
You said that from the start, Am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
it's horrendous. It really is horrendous. But it's like Ant-Man at the box office as well. Is as we reported it on the news thing that it weekend on weekend, first weekend, second weekend, 70% drop off. By the third weekend, it was dead in the water, completely dead, and that is scary because bearing in mind we've spoken about Ant-Man. Ant-Man is not the worst MCU film at all.
No.
It beats all of Phase 4, and I would say it's on par with Spider-Man: No Way Home, and it's bombed harder than anything else. People have had enough.
That's it. It's burnout. Yeah, everyone's just burnt out on it.
It's earning less money, and the ticket prices are more.
There's actually less people seeing it.
Measurements on that stuff is wrong. Like, it's skewing. Adding inflation. I mean, what was a pre-pandemic cinema ticket cost compared to now? And I reckon in the UK, in certain cinemas, it's getting on to nearly double. What you would have paid to go and see Endgame for the cost of that ticket, if you want to see Ant-Man this week, I bet that's nearly double the cost.
Well, there's hardly any showings of Ant-Man anymore.
No,
literally nothing.
What I mean is when you add that costing, so it's losing money. So say, I think you're saying it's 500 million globally, Ant-Man.
God, is that all?
Yeah. Out of that 500 million, you've put less bums on seats because that 500 million is made up of extortionately priced tickets.
Yeah.
It's not like the first Ant-Man film when it probably cost like $5 or $5.
What was the budget on that, man? Do we know?
Oh, over 200 million.
And what was the marketing? The standard like 100 million.
Double it. You normally double it, didn't you?
All right.
Jesus.
Well, I don't think that the price of tickets here has changed a whole lot. I mean, I remember going and seeing movies like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was about $18, and it's still about $18 now.
Is it?
Yeah. And you know what's weird is a lot of the theaters have changed though. So it used to be the classic movie theater, but the theaters now, there's a lot of them doing the whole, you can recline your seat all the way, and you know it's more comfortable and there's more space. You're not right up against somebody. So I'm like, the quality of the theaters has gone up, and the price seems to have stayed mostly the same on tickets. It's very weird. It's a very strange thing. I don't know how it's happened, but it seems to have happened.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, to be fair.
We should do that here.
Yeah.
We don't get that here. We still get that crap sitting there with people you don't know. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the first time I was in one of those theaters where you had the reclining seat, like I watched all of Avatar, the Blue People, in like the fully laying down, just like this lazy boy type of, I was like, this is it. I'm watching movies like this from now on.
Did you go in your pajamas?
I could have. And yeah.
Pull a little blanket up.
That's it.
Well, they've got the theaters that serve food here now, which, I mean, that's been around, but it was always more expensive. And now it's not much more expensive to have food brought to you.
Yeah, I find that job
changing very quickly. Or yeah, having food. I don't like it either, but I mean, there are some movies where I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, this is just for fun. Coming on, bring me some.
I like the cinemas with a little fridge where you got your beers in.
No, I have not been to one of those. That sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, proper lounger, Yeah. The beers and snacks in the middle.
On the station. So
I went to a theater in Alaska, and so all the malls in Alaska are really cool because they're connected with tunnels. Not theaters, I mean all the shops, like everything. So you don't have to go outside ever. You just go to the mall and you tunnel to whatever shops you want to go to. And their theater was neat because it looked like a dinner theater. So it was a movie theater in the back, but then up in the front they had tables, like round tables that you could sit at. And I was like, this is kind of nice. It was weird. It felt like I was going to, a dinner theater, but it was for a movie. So that was fun.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to have more of that.
And then you went outside and it was 28 days a night.
Yeah, no kidding. People up there have what they call happy lamps. It's like a UV light bulb, and you put it in your house and you turn it on for like an hour a day just so that you don't fall into like extreme depression. Because I'm not kidding, that's how you do it. So you get the UV exposure that you need to maintain vitamin D or whatever. But
happy
anyway,
lamps.
Side story. Just want to
happy lamps and electric lollipops.
Yeah. Good times.
We've got an electric video.
Yeah.
This week. So the last thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know why I'm finding it so intriguing, and it is about this Witcher writer. And the whole Cavill storm, and the Witcher showrunner, and the Witcher writer. Oh,
the one coming out saying he was annoying because he was too into it. Yeah,
the Witcher showrunner ahead of Witcher season 3 coming out, which Cavill's going to be in, which I wasn't aware of until Liz pointed that out. To be fair,
yeah.
But anyway, so Cavill is off of The Witcher. And the showrunner, ahead of his last series coming out, has said she found him annoying for his over-enthusiasm. You've got
kind of backwards.
Cavill, like what goes through these people's minds, right? I've been wondering for a long while, right? So, over there, you've got a former writer off of from The Witcher, Bo DiMeo, saying, I'm working on X-Men 97, and apparently, I mean, Magneto's in it. He's got a cool new uniform. It's all animated. They're going full on. And X-Men 97 is held in very high regard, apart from the last series.
I remember that as a kid, man. That was awesome.
There's a whole generation that does, and it was a beautiful thing. do you know what? It's a beautiful thing because it stuck to what they did in the comics, but it could do it. It could do it literally because it was animated.
Yeah.
So now he's doing X-Men 97, but he's insisting that anyone working on it has got to be a fan. You've got to be into it. You've got to know who the X-Men are. Maybe you've read the I don't know the details of it.
I think that's smart.
And
yeah, definitely.
And I think we're all going to agree on
100%.
Because what he said was, when he worked on The Witcher, the creative team were actively mocked the books and the games. They actively did it. They were actively behind the scenes taking the piss. And what I find so interesting about this piece of information is that you can just imagine this. You transfer that, and we've always discussed this analogy as the writing table, the creative table on all these shows. Working from Willow backwards or Rings of Power backwards. But this is why we get this shit.
Yeah.
These people, and this guy he's gone on record now, which is what I find really interesting. He's gone on record and said he found it. I'm paraphrasing him, but he found it depressing. He said it's bad for morale.
Yeah.
So said that if you've got to please, you've got to respect what's gone before you can add to the legacy.
100%.
Now, I hope that smashes it out of the park. I hope he's showing them. He's going to show them at Dismal. And I know it's only a little animated series if you want to, kind of keep it all on a level. But I just find it really interesting.
It's crazy.
I don't know what.
It's crazy that these.
It adds weight to Cavill walking away as well.
Absolutely.
Someone that's a massive fan of the games, the books, the mythology around it. Like Cavill is literally a nerd, but he's a fucking cool nerd, and I feel that he's with his passion for comics and superheroes and other stuff like The Witcher.
Gamer. I mean, I don't know.
Massive gamer. But
his plan is to go on and do Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think he's going to do a good job of that, Randy?
I do, because he's passionate behind it, right? And that passion is going to he's a good actor, right? And then he's passionate about this, and you combine those things, and he's going to be dynamic. And because he's a fan, I'm sure he's going to make sure that the writing is good and plays to the material and doesn't insult the material or the viewers.
How much power has he got over?
Wasn't it?
How much power has he got over 40K? Because
that's what I'm saying. I think he had that drawn up into his contract.
Because otherwise, you'll get the same thing as The Witcher. I feel like he's an actor that hasn't hit his prime yet in terms of what he's actually capable of. Okay, he's done Witcher, he's done Superman, but each time he's kind of been screwed over a little bit, especially with the recent news of Superman as well. It's almost like all the producers on these shows and these films and that are going, you know too much, shut up, just do what we tell you.
Yeah.
Right, but I think the controlling force here will be Games Workshop, who owns the rights to Warhammer 40K. And this is their opportunity to take the game to an even higher level, right? Get it out in a show. This is something they should be chomping at the bit, right? They should want their game respected. And if they are smart, they will put him, I don't know, in charge, but, make sure that he has significant weight to make sure it goes forward, because he's also a fan, right? If they want to protect their game, let this guy do that for them.
Games Workshop have been pretty decent so far with the books.
Yeah.
They've done comics as well for Warhammer. Not many, but they've done books. But all of those, they just sell. They've got they've got a property there that I think Games Workshop, they know what they've got.
But let's take it back. Let's take it back a step further. And you have now got greenlit for The Witcher first season, and someone comes in for an interview on a job, and you're thinking, right, we need to hire the team, and someone comes in that's going to be part of the creative team, and you go, right, what's your enthusiasm about this project? Why should I hire you? And they go, I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I've never read it. And yeah, I just don't really want to do anything else. And you go, yeah, okay, cool. This is our person.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what?
I just need the money.
At what point tell you who was doing the interviews.
At what point does that work? And the only way is what Amber's alluded to is literally you hire your friends.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's literally it. You hire your friends, and just to give them a bit of a payday and a bit of a check, a bit more exposure. But at what point do you go, right, everyone, look, I know you haven't played The Witcher. I know you haven't read the source material. But before we get started, I'm going to put you in place because I want you, because you're my mate, and I'm going to help you out and do you a bit of a favor. But you have to go away and you have to read every single book. You have to play every single game, and you have to learn as much as you can about this world and its mythology before you can bring anything to the table. You have to respect it. You have to do your research, not whatever this other crap is.
So what we've seen is the creation of almost a corporate production world, and it's creating this thing where you have projects come in like, okay, we're going to do The Witcher, but we've already got the creative team for it there. They're just not there for The Witcher. They're there for Netflix, or they're there for whatever. And here comes a project. Okay, now we have to work on this. I wish we could go back to it wasn't even that long ago, but the days of where it would be a creative collaboration of a bunch of people who are all passionate about the same thing, and they say, let's do this. Ron Howard has a legacy. I haven't seen some of his more recent stuff, but of usually assembling people who love what he loves. Yes. So that's why a lot of his films have been so good, is because he gets, and even the shows that he produces, because it's all people who are like, wait, this is something that Ron Howard likes. I usually like what he likes. Let's check it out. And then they're really passionate about it. So, that's what it used to be. Like DreamWorks was so good at assembling people who love the same kinds of things, and then they all collaborate on one project together and create something really wonderful. But now you've got these big corporations that accept jobs, like, oh yeah, we'll do The Witcher. You bring Willow over here, or whatever. They're bringing on projects that they're not going and grabbing. They're brought in like, okay, yeah, we can make money off of this. It's not the same thing. And I think we're going to go back to the good stuff, like what Randy was saying. I think we had like the Disney Renaissance at one point. I think we're going to have the Maverick era. Like that Maverick has ushered in this new era of people who love filmmaking and really want to get back to what it used to be. It's going to happen again.
It'll take time. It takes time,
but we're seeing it. It's starting. Like Maverick came out 2 years ago.
I think what we will see is, we'll see the Renaissance, and it's going to go back to how it was.
Yeah.
But staying back how it was is not necessarily a perfect model. Times do change. I think what we'll see is, we'll see it go back to how it was. It's almost like quite a harsh shift. It will feel like a harsh shift because it takes so much time for this stuff to come out. Then all of a sudden, loads of good stuff will come out, and it will go back to how it was. But then I think we'll start to see it slowly adapt into something new. And I don't quite know what that is, but going back to how it was isn't necessarily the answer.
No.
It will be the answer for the reset of things, but then we need to move forward still. But I'm not quite sure what that moving forward will be. It might be that, like with that Chosen series, it might be with something, a different formula altogether. But I think it kind of needs to reset and go back to how it was. But then from there, if it just stays as how it was, okay, cool. But I think it then needs to evolve into something else overall.
It can't happen too quick because there is now a creative void.
There's a little void, yeah.
There is a creative void now. There was a time when, like Amber's talking about, of a production line.
Yeah.
And the franchises come along. We've just bought The Witcher, we've just bought a book, we've just bought a comic, we've just bought this, and it just chunk. Well, to be fair, like the glory days I'm talking about, it would have been the same. But the crucial difference is the producers and the writers and the directors at the top would have all had a track record. They were only writers and producers, and directors and editors because they worked their way up in the industry and they were at the top of their game. So when you get something like The Incredible Hulk come along for, I don't know what American TV network was airing that back in the day, right? But all it was The Fugitive, which was an older TV show. It was updated, but the producers and the writers and the directors had all worked on stuff for years, sometimes decades, and they got it, and they realised that it was just a story a week with the Hulk at the end, hulking out. We all loved it for that. And I know I'm kind of going back to the halcyon days, but I think my main point is the creativity was there. These were people that could write us a story about the Hulk. When X-Files come out, you look at what all those guys and girls on the X-Files have gone on to do.
Yeah.
We went on to do from Lost to Breaking Bad to A Better Call Saul, because they didn't just write science fiction or whatever you could class X-Files as. They were just creatively talented people.
Yeah.
They could direct, or they could write an episode of drama, because that's what it all has to boil down to, whether you dress it up as horror or sci-fi or romantic or medical drama. They could just write.
But they also, I think, developed a love for what they had. I mean,
yes.
I don't think that they would,
yeah.
I can't imagine them staying on a project that they despise and hate, and are allowed to continue to despise and hate, like in Witcher. Because it comes out, you see it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, because perhaps this is what we're talking about here, this disdain for what we're working on. How can that...
You couldn't work in that environment.
That's toxic.
It's impossible. Yeah, exactly. It's too toxic. I mean, my experience is limited in like, obviously, big end movies, you know. But when I was working on Captain America, that was an amazing place. I'd have done that for free. That was fantastic. Working with Joe Johnson, working with Chris Evans, working with Stanley Tucci, all these people, they all love it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was such a good experience. Like I say, I was there 18 days in total, but I would have done it for free. I'd have absolutely done it for free, over and over again.
Have you seen one of the actresses who's in the Shazam film, which has just come out? And that looks like that's going to bomb.
That came out today, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's come out
today in the US. I think, I don't know if it's in the UK yet. Is it? Anyway,
yeah, it's today. It's out.
One of the actresses has already come out and said the only reason she did it is because she needed a job.
Oh wow!
Already, first day of release, she's already done an interview, and she's shitting all over it. Instead of saying, "I thought an interesting character," or "I really liked the script," or "I found it exciting," or "I wanted to dress up as a superhero," she could have said anything. But she said it was just, and she even says in the quote, "I'm being serious now. I only did it because it was a gig."
Wow.
But on top of that, though, if you've only got that to say,
what a shame.
Just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know that character dies, didn't you? She's definitely not in the next one.
Well, the film franchise is dying.
Yeah.
Well, it won't carry on, will it? Because James Gunn ain't having, isn't the
That's true. Yeah, he's done away with it anyway. Yeah.
Affleck. Did you hear about Affleck as well? Just quickly.
No, go on. What's he doing?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, Affleck's going to direct, and it might be a Batman film. And Affleck said, "I ain't directing anything for the." And the quote is something along the lines of, "I'm not directing anything to do with the DC universe the way it is at the moment."
Yeah.
He turned around and said, "It's nothing against James Gunn. It's just not how I would do it," or something like that.
He's grown up. That's because he's an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want all this stupidity on his CV. I mean, he done Daredevil, but that was when he was younger.
Well, he just recently came out and said that he and Matt Damon are going to start working together again a lot more.
Good.
Like that they didn't, because they collaborated for, what was it? The one about the rape, and it was these 2 nights. Did you guys hear about that? What the heck was that movie called?
Oh, God.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was called something like The Last Night or something.
Was it? Oh, no, that doesn't ring a bell.
No, it was about 2 nights. It's not The Green Knight. It was 2 knights, and one of them has a wife. And Matt Damon is married to this woman. Then Matt Damon's character is away from home when this other knight comes along and supposedly assaults the wife. And now, The Last Duel. That was it. The Last Duel.
Oh, the Ridley Scott.
Yeah. So that was, so apparently the two of them got back together. I might be mixing it up, but I'm pretty sure that they said it was there that they decided we're getting back together. We're going to be working together more often. And they didn't, because they thought, oh no, if we do, we will be a duo. We will always have to work together. People will only associate one with the other, but then they've realized that we actually really do work well together. And they do. I mean, my gosh, Good Will Hunting was spectacular. So they're going to supposedly be collaborating a lot more. So I'm looking forward to what they put out. I'd love to see them do something really wild.
Yeah. Well, or just something different. I mean, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
That was different. Matt Damon's done some independently and together they've done some good shit. So yeah, even the dog agrees.
Yeah.
Even the dog agrees.
Yeah,
well, I think that might be a good place to wrap it up. I think the dog wants some love. Unless anyone else has got any further discussions.
Nothing I can think of.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Now I'm going to be checking out that show Shadow and Bone, because so the book,
is that series 2?
Yeah, season 2 has come out. So I didn't watch season 1 because I thought it looked like Twilight, but it's not. At least I've only seen the first 2 episodes. But my sister said, she's like, oh no, this really interesting situation. So the writer wrote the books, right? And then then she became a much better writer after writing these books, and all this criticism came out about her books. And then Netflix picked up the books and said, we're going to do a show, and she's involved, and she sort of helped the writers, and they've enhanced it. So this is one of those rare cases where the show is not just loyal to the books, it's actually improved significantly. At least that's what I've heard. So I'm looking at it as, okay, I want to see if this worked. Did they actually do that? And just from episode 1, I'm like, yeah, they really improved a lot. So I'm curious. I don't know what the story is. I haven't read the books. I haven't watched the show
I watched the first episode of series 1.
First 2 episodes, but I'm really curious to see how it goes.
It was so squarely, and I love it for that. If she's involved and they've elevated it, love it. But it was so squarely a young adult.
It is. Oh, but the books were like even worse.
Yeah, and
episode 1 what I hear.
Series, I watched it and I thought, oh, how old am I? But that doesn't mean it was bad. It just means that I wasn't the audience.
Oh yeah, and I'm the same. Like I wouldn't normally be into this, but I think as just a subject of study, how many times can we look at a movie or a TV show and say they did it even better than the books? They did it significantly better. And my sister assures me that they did it way better, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Because up till now, Daredevil's the only thing I can think of that actually.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That Netflix Daredevil series
and Punisher.
That character. I don't know if the Punisher's better in the comics.
I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know.
But I don't know if I don't think the TV's ever going to get anywhere near. But Bernthal is back, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is back. Yeah. He is back.
Of course, they're going to elevate that character.
Quick coordinator.
Beyond what anything's done before.
Yeah. Money talks. Mate. Money talks.
I just find it a bit. So Charlie Cox has obviously sold his soul to the devil, and then Bernthal comes out and says, if I come back as Punisher, it's got to be the 18 certificated. It's got to be hardcore. Yeah. It's got to be this. It's got to be that.
Now he's sponsored by Nerf.
Yeah, now he's back.
On my little news thing where I said
I love Bernthal as well, and that's the
problem. Liam Hemsworth taking over from Cavill. I mean, sure,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, but aren't there better jobs for him to do? Like as an agent, if you was Liam Hemsworth's agent, you're saying, yeah, follow Henry Cavill on that show. That'll do you some good. Really?
But wasn't Christian Bale in one of the MC shows or movies?
Yes,
Christian Bale. I mean,
for
Like,
love and
why?
Yeah, shocking.
I think it's money. Why not? I don't have anything else coming on. It's the highest paying job. It's got to be the money. That's all I can think.
Shrinking. I think it's shrinking opportunities, and too many of these idiots run around with so-called celebrity star status, and there's not enough gigs.
No, it's horrendous.
Why would you get old Loki? What's his name? Doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't he used to do Shakespeare once upon a time? Now he's doing that.
Interesting.
But no, that's hard work, isn't it? Because you've got to act twice a day for about 6 weeks if you're going to do it in the the Globe. If you're going to do the Globe in London and do Shakespeare for 6 weeks, twice a day, oh, that's hard work. I'll just do that shitter and get paid.
Get paid a lot more.
It's the name on the series, but he ain't going to be in it a lot. It's going to be She-Loki, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Never mind.
It'd be ridiculous.
Never mind. But guys, listen, let's wrap it up. Thanks ever so much.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks
Fun to be here.
Me once again. And well, until next time, I'll say adios.
Adios.
No.